We're going to be making a trigger finger orthosis. So first we'll start out with the pattern. You're just going to lay the paper towel over the patient's hand. We're going to be making this one on the middle finger here. So the first thing you're going to palpate for is the proximal digital crease. And you're going to mark on each side of the finger in line with that. And then you're going to palpate for the PIP joint and come just proximal to that. And then again, mark on each side of that. And then we're going to use these markings to create the tabs that will wrap around the finger to create the ring that wraps around the finger. And then we're going to make the portion that extends into the palm. So you're just going to bring that straight down, and then you're going to kind of draw a tab a little bit circular into the palm. We want this tab to extend proximal to the distal palmar crease to adequately limit MP flexion. So when you're done, the pattern will look something like this. When the material is ready, you're going to position it on the volar aspect of the digit and palm. So first, I'm going to create the ring that wraps around the finger. And I'm just going to pinch it back here to kind of create a seam so that it fits snugly around the finger. You want to position the MP joint in full extension. And then last, you're just going to mold the tab into the palm. You want to get a good mold into the palm just so that it adequately holds the finger in extension. Once the material has cooled, you're ready to mark it for trimming. So first, here at the PIP joint, I'm going to take a little bit off there just because we don't want it to limit PIP flexion. And then with the tab, you don't want it to limit any range of motion of the adjacent fingers. So here we are good, but you want to make sure that those are not limited. Make sure that the material stays underneath the affected digit and doesn't come too far on the sides. And then on the dorsum of the hand, we'll knock off this tab here and then reseal it with the heat gun. Here's the orthosis after trimming. So I trimmed here to free up the PIP joint, and then I trimmed off the excess on the seam, and we sealed that closed with the heat gun. If your patient is unable to don and doff the orthosis with this sealed, you can pop this apart and use a Velcro strap to keep it in place if needed. Here's the final product of the trigger finger orthosis. So you do want to make sure that MP flexion is blocked of that digit, but that they can still perform PIP flexion. And then you want to make sure that the adjacent fingers are left free for motion. And then lastly, you want to make sure that the patient is able to don and doff the ring portion of the orthosis independently. As stated earlier, if the patient is unable to get the ring on and off, you can pop the seam here and then keep it in place with Velcro instead.